There are two ways for you to overcome pain. You can let it destroy you, or you can turn it into motivation to drive yourself forward, to dream bigger, to work harder. Taylor Swift. The pain of loss always crashes over us like an icy tidal wave, without warning, without permission, and when it floods in, it can drown the entire spiritual foundation we have painstakingly built. Yet the heart of the matter does not lie in the pain itself, but in how our mind chooses to interpret and confront it. Humans are not merely beings who endure emotions, but also masterful architects of life's meaning. It is right at this moment that two clear paths diverge. One is collapse, where sorrow is nurtured like a harsh sentence, slowly eroding our will each day. The other is a miraculous transformation, where suffering becomes precious material to forge a stronger version of ourselves. When we let pain take control, we are like being locked in a dark room without light, where every thought gradually rots in captivity, and we begin to believe we are utterly powerless. But when we choose to face it and redefine it, pain turns into the pressure that creates diamonds. The fiercer it is, the more it crystallizes into an indestructible inner strength. This is not about denying real emotions, but a journey of reshaping perception, a process where we learn to ask ourselves, what is this pain teaching me? Instead of, why did fate give this to me? The difference between the two paths does not lie in external circumstances, but in the deepest psychological attitude. One person turns loss into an excuse to stop. The other turns it into fuel to reach farther than they ever dreamed. And right in that instant, pain is no longer the enemy, but becomes a silent driving force, urging us to dream more boldly, to work more relentlessly, and to live with deeper awareness. Because in the end, loss does not define who we are. It is how we respond to it that truly shapes the portrait of our soul. You know you are on the path to success if you are willing to do your work without needing to be paid. Oprah Winfrey. When you are ready to throw yourself into your work with all your heart and soul, without caring about material rewards, that is the moment you know you are walking the true path of success. This is a profound shift from external motivation to inner power. Action is no longer driven by money, fame, or recognition, but guided by pure passion and deep meaning from within. At that point, work is no longer a means to sustain life, but becomes an inseparable part of life itself, like a steady flame burning quietly within, needing no witness, yet warm and strong enough to keep you moving forward, even when rewards have not yet arrived. Others may see it as a great sacrifice, but deep down, it is the moment when a person merges perfectly with their action. You work not out of duty, but because you simply cannot stop. That is the magical intersection of burning passion and iron discipline, where every effort brings deep inner satisfaction, regardless of outward results. We do not deny the value of money, but we place it in its rightful position as a natural consequence, not the ultimate goal. When you reach this state, you are no longer chasing success. You are already living fully inside it. Because true success, after all, is not just what you achieve, but the extraordinary person you become along the journey. If you truly want something, do not wait for it. Train yourself to be patient. If you truly desire something, do not wait for it passively, but train yourself to build solid patience. That is the clear line between fleeting, impulsive desire and deep, mature aspiration. A genuine longing does not demand instant results. It is deep enough to embrace the entire process and resilient enough to endure the quiet passages of time. Patience, therefore, is not helpless waiting, but a refined inner discipline the ability to master restlessness, so it does not destroy what needs time to grow and mature. Like a seed forced to sprout in a single night, it would wither before it could reach for the sky. Humans are the same. When we rush toward what we want, we easily trade depth for fleeting speed and lasting strength for short-lived gains. Patience at such times is like a conscious silence, where you still move forward each day, but refuse to be haunted by the need for immediate results. It is the art of working hard in stillness, accepting days that seem to show no clear progress, yet trusting fiercely that every effort is quietly accumulating into sweet fruit. In truth, this advice is not telling you to sit and wait for what you desire to fall from the sky, but guiding you to become the version of yourself worthy of receiving it. And that process always requires time. When you learn patience, time no longer torments you with anxiety. Instead, you turn time into a loyal companion. Because the most precious things in life rarely arrive in haste, they only appear when you have grown mature enough to cherish and hold them. If you are not willing to risk the familiar, you will have to settle for the ordinary. Jim Rohn. On one side is the need for safety and familiarity. On the other is the longing to break free and reach greater versions of ourselves. The comfort zone is like a warm room where everything is predictable, with no risk, but also no breakthrough. When we stay there too long, we are not only avoiding danger, but unconsciously limiting our own potential. Ordinary is therefore not a random outcome, but the inevitable result of constantly refusing to step beyond what is familiar. Risk here is not reckless action, but the willingness to embrace uncertainty and step into the unknown with a mind ready to learn. It is like leaving the shore for the open sea. You lose the solid ground beneath your feet, but in return, you gain the chance to discover horizons that those standing on the shore will never see. The psychology of fear often exaggerates danger, making us believe that failure will define who we are. But in reality, what defines us is whether we dare to try. When you are not willing to trade the familiar, you are unconsciously choosing a life that is predictable and low in turbulence, but also low in meaning. On the contrary, when you accept risk, you are signing a contract with growth. It may bring pain, it may bring failure, but it will never be ordinary. And it is precisely in those uncertain steps that your true self emerges, not the safe version, but the one brave enough to live fully in its own potential. The key to success is to develop a competitive edge. Brian Tracy. A competitive edge is not simply a superior skill, but a unique mark that makes you irreplaceable. Success, when all is said and done, is not a race to see who tries harder, but the process of shaping yourself into the person, the market, society, or circumstances truly need. When you have no unique edge, you are forced to compete on common factors: time, effort, endurance, and that pulls you into an exhausting cycle with little breakthrough. Developing a competitive edge is actually a profound journey of self-awareness. It requires you to look honestly at your strengths, your weaknesses, and even the things others often overlook in you. It could be a professional skill, a unique way of thinking, or even the ability to connect things that seem unrelated. Like a blade sharpened over and over, an edge does not become sharp by accident. It is formed through focus, persistence, and deliberate choice when you decide not to spread yourself thin, but to dig deep until others find it hard to imitate. Possessing a competitive edge also brings a very special kind of quiet confidence. Not loud, not needing proof, yet solid enough that you are not shaken by comparison. You are no longer obsessed with having to be like someone else to succeed, but begin to understand that true value lies in controlled difference. And when that edge is developed correctly, success is no longer a distant goal. It becomes the natural result of having correctly positioned yourself in a world that is always seeking unique value. Success is a matter of sticking to a few ordinary principles that anyone can master. Earl Nightingale. We often search for complicated formulas for success, while its true nature lies in principles that are remarkably simple. Those principles are not hidden secrets, but things so obvious they are easily overlooked. Discipline, perseverance, focus, responsibility. The problem is not in knowing, but in the ability to follow through. Because people do not fail from lack of knowledge, but from not being consistent enough to live by what they already understand. Those ordinary principles are like small individual bricks, unimpressive on their own. But when placed in the right positions and repeated long enough, they form a solid structure. On the other hand, if you keep breaking them because of fleeting emotions, laziness, boredom, loss of motivation, then every effort becomes fragmented. This is exactly where many people stumble. They wait for inspiration to act, instead of acting to create inspiration. And in the gap between knowing and doing, potential slowly erodes. Following principles is not restriction, but a form of structured freedom, where you are no longer completely controlled by emotions. When you build the habit of doing the right thing, even when you don't feel like it, you are reclaiming control over yourself. And gradually, those small, repeated actions accumulate into great results. Success is not a sudden explosion, but the outcome of staying faithful to the basics over a long enough period. If you do not continuously sharpen your skills, you will quickly become obsolete. Stephen Covey. In the relentless flow of the age, a person does not stand still. Either they evolve or they are left behind. The value of an individual is not something fixed, but a living entity that must be nourished continuously. When you stop sharpening your skills, you do not merely stop, you are actually falling behind a world that is always moving, always raising standards, always discarding what no longer fits. Stopping the learning process often begins with the illusion of stability, when we believe what we know today will be enough for tomorrow. A trap. Familiarity creates a sense of safety, making us reluctant to change or start over. Like a knife that is never sharpened, it first grows slightly dull, but over time, it loses its ability to cut and eventually becomes useless. Skills are the same. If they are not practiced and updated, they do not only become outdated, but also reduce your ability to adapt. On the contrary, continuously sharpening skills not only helps you keep pace with the times, but also builds confidence based on real capability. You no longer fear change because you know you can learn and adapt. The learning process then stops being an obligation and becomes part of your identity, a habit of thinking that keeps expanding your own limits. In the end, the world does not reward what you were once good at, but what you can do well right now. And in that game, the winner is not the one who started earliest, but the one who never stops moving forward. Doing the impossible is truly exciting. Walt Disney. The desire to break through our own limits, what we call impossible, is often not an absolute boundary, but a temporary conclusion born of fear, past experience, or standards we unconsciously accept. When facing it, we stand before two choices: either believe the limit is real, or doubt it long enough to try stepping across. The excitement here is like standing before a locked door that everyone believes cannot be opened, yet you are curious enough to try. And the very moment you place your hand on that door, you have already become different from the crowd. Because psychologically, the thrill does not come from the outcome, but from the process of challenging old beliefs. When you dare to do the impossible, you are reshaping the way you see the world, from a place full of barriers into a space of possibility. What matters is that even if you do not fully achieve what seemed impossible, you still do not return to the starting point. You have expanded your limits of perception and broken part of the structure of fear inside you. Just as muscles only grow when stretched, humans only mature when facing things beyond their current ability. And in that process, impossible gradually loses its weight, not because the world has changed, but because you have changed. Perhaps that is why doing the impossible feels so exciting. It is not only an outward action, but an inner adventure where you discover that the greatest limits have never been in circumstances, but in what you believe about yourself. Quality is never an accident. It is always the result of intelligent effort. John Ruskin. It is never a lucky accident, but the trace of a conscious process. It does not arise from impulsiveness or scattered efforts, but is distilled through a series of precise choices, subtle adjustments, and a mindset that knows the difference between doing a lot and doing it right. Intelligent effort, therefore, is not just hard work, but the ability to observe yourself while acting, knowing when to continue, when to change, and when to pause and think. A sculptor standing before a raw block of stone, if he only uses force without vision, he will only create meaningless chisel marks. But when there is calculation, every strike has purpose. Every excess piece is removed to reveal the hidden form within. Quality works the same way. It is the result of strategic patience, where every action serves a higher standard. This requires a refined state of discipline. You refuse to be swept away by the feeling of, "That's enough," and always ask yourself, "Could it be done better?" It is the refusal to settle for average, the ability to maintain focus, even when no one is watching. And it is precisely in those quiet moments that quality is formed, not loudly, but enduringly. After all, quality is the silent language of seriousness. It reflects how you treat your work, your standards, and yourself. And when effort is guided by intelligence rather than blind striving, the result is not only better, but carries the mark of refinement, making it stand out among the countless things that are merely good enough out there. You focus your intention and attention on what you want to change. Wayne Dyer, in Humans, change does not begin with action, but starts where we place our attention. Intention is like an arrow, and attention is the direction it flies. If these two do not align, every effort becomes scattered and lacks penetrating power. When you truly focus on what you want to change, you are resetting your inner order. Instead of letting the mind wander according to old habits, you deliberately train it toward a clear goal. A garden. If you have no clear intention, everything grows randomly, both flowers and weeds. But when you choose to focus, you begin to become a conscious gardener. You know what you want to plant, and you persistently remove what does not serve that growth. Attention then stops being a reaction to the world and becomes a tool that shapes the inner world. A high level of awareness, the ability to notice when you are being pulled off course and gently bring yourself back. This is not rigid force, but a gentle discipline. You do not fight yourself, but guide yourself. Gradually, what you focus on will be strengthened. Just as muscles grow through deliberate repetition, you do not change your life with explosive moments, but with the way you direct your attention every day. Where you place your mind, that is where growth will happen. And when intention is clear enough and attention is persistent enough, change is no longer distant. It becomes the inevitable result of a mind that knows exactly where it is going.